What is a beautiful culture in an organization? What does that look like, and how do you create it? How do you make that happen?
It is important to clarify that a beautiful culture is a very imperfect culture.
Hmm.
This is important because some people, when the company decides to invest in company culture, they say the reaction, sometimes you have different reactions, like with any kind of change in organizations, there are different voices that raise in reaction to the proposal. And one of them is, we cannot say that we are building a beautiful culture because we have this problem and this problem and this problem, right? But then if you have the people leading the company committed, and this is key because a beautiful culture cannot be built just with the people with middle management or just with a label, It's not that I like to speak about labels, but, it is no way you can build that without everyone involved. That's not possible. It has to be. So everyone involved is very important. But what I was saying before is that building a beautiful culture is a commitment. It's a beautiful commitment. It's a worth it commitment. And with this, I mean that it's going to be not easy. It's going to be complex. It's like a relationship. You get married with someone or you commit to have a relationship with someone. It's not going to be perfect. You are going to have to deal with not being beautiful. And this is small but big, right? Because sometimes when we see that something not beautiful is happening, or that your CEO, they fire someone that you think is not fair, sometimes the reaction is, well, that's not beautiful. Perhaps it's not, but we don't know. We should analyze profoundly that thing. But building a beautiful company culture is a place to go. It's a place to go. It's a commitment. And then each time that is not beautiful, as you want to build this beautiful culture, each time that is not happening, then you have created already a human space, an intimate space, safe space, etc., where people can gather and speak about it without being in danger for speaking up.
I wanted to ask if you might have an example that comes to mind of a transformation you've been able to bring about in a company where they're able to embrace this ideal of a beautiful culture. Like, what does it take for them to commit to that? And then while they go through the struggles, how can they remain in this space that you've created practically? Does that make sense? Like, it'd be great if you could give us an example of what you've seen.
Yeah, you are pointing out something very key, which is remain. I'm working with a client that called me to create, design, and implement the whole strategy for an area called Beautiful Business Area, actually inside the company. So this big company, they said, okay, we want to create an area which is focused on on culture. They have already people area, and they wanted to call this area focused on culture, Beautiful Business. And that's the thing. First, we listen to the people. It wasn't me going to the company and saying, hey, this is how you build a beautiful culture in this company. This is the how-to. I refuse a lot to work with the how-tos. And I refuse a lot to copy-paste where the big startups are doing. You can get inspired. You can see frameworks, tools, things that they do to see if they are good for the company you are working with. But not a copy-paste, please, because that culture in that company, it's fulfilled by people, and they have name and surnames, and they are coming from different places. They are diverse and rich, and they need to feel seen and listened, and they need to share where they envision as a great company culture. So you first do that, even if you have brilliant ideas as a consultant. And this is a message from all the consultants that may be listening to this podcast, but please, first, even if you have what you think that is the magic formula of no, you go first and you listen. You ask people, what is what you see? What is what you need? What is what worries you, etc., etc. This is a key thing. And another key thing to highlight, because there are many things, but I could highlight three. One, this that I just said. The second one could be there will be resistance. There will be resistance until they have the experience of what you are running as an experience of beautiful business, of a beautiful culture. Meaning that you create the department, you do a great communication campaign, whatever, but people, they need to live with their bodies and minds. What is that thing that you are doing, right? Because otherwise it's just the judgmental side of your mind doing the work. So the experience that I have is that when they go through the experience of, okay, let's work on new cultural behaviors or cultural behaviors for this company, for the business growth, for instance, and you just spend a few hours on one of them, and it's not a TED talk, it's not me as a consultant or a speaker going to the company and saying, this is the 10 how to, this is the greatest methodology to, but you invite people to live an experience about that behavior, then you see transformation. And I link this to the verb that you said before, remain. You can see, then they see, but then you need to remain on that. And for that, it's like a muscle. You want to build muscle, you don't drop off your routine. A routine is needed. You want to have a healthy life, you have to eat healthy food. So it is okay if one day you don't eat healthy food, but so in business is the same thing. Like you want to have a healthy company culture, then you do your routine, then you do your stuff and the things that you are working on. The strategy needs to be more than a one big thing, team building. We need to go beyond team buildings. Please, this is another message from everyone working in organizations. Let's go beyond team buildings, because team buildings are a great thing to remind ourselves why we are together. But then we need to put in practice everything that we see in a team building. Then we need to do more than that.
Yeah, no, that's great. Do you have any advice for leaders then who are trying to highlight the more human element? I think increasingly just with quiet quitting and the great resignation and so on, it's becoming much more important for leaders to value the talent they have. And I wonder if you might be able to offer, just from your experience, any tips, any advice to leaders who are listening, maybe one thing they could do that could move them in the direction that you're advocating towards more beautiful business, towards more beautiful leadership, towards creating more beautiful culture. What is one really crucial thing they could do?
This is a great question because it's inviting us to reflect deeply about what is needed. And I'm gonna link this answer to a comment that you said before. I think you said something like, I don't know if I'm a leader, but I like to connect with people, right? My desire, my vision is that there are potentially as many leaders in the planet as human beings. The call for leadership is not for first-time management. It's not for boards. It's not for CEOs. The call for leadership is for every single person. Because I see it at first as an awakening and then as a commitment. First, you realize that there is something inside of you, like, oh, I really want to do good, do great things for other people and for life. And I really love life. So first is this. And then to do your routine, like we said before, there are commitments, right? And one of the commitments is, I see two beautiful ones. One is you want your people to shine. You really commit to that. You want your people to shine. So you, instead of being the one to speak, you are the one that listens. You are the one that is going to make great questions, not to shine by your question, but to help other people to shine by a simple question that you have asked. And the other one is another commitment that I love, that you commit to this, like, may my mind be a safe space for you. Imagine this in the wall of Google, or, this as a value, or as a North Star, or whatever you want to call it, right? But if you have an organization, if you have people committed to this, to do whatever it takes to have a mind where people can rest, because that means that you cannot do that alone. You are going to do this with people. There is no other way. But the commitment is personal, is intimate, and it's going to be difficult. It's like what we said before about a relationship. And it means that you will be mistaken also with this, because there will be a moment that perhaps you speak about someone that is not present in that meeting. And instead of going to that person to speak about the problem you have with that person, perhaps you speak about that person with someone that you shouldn't be speaking with about that, So at that moment, your mind is not a safe space for everyone in your team, right?
Yeah, I'm really intrigued by this. Yeah, for what does it mean for my mind to be a safe space for the other, right? And does that mean that I need to be open to whatever challenges they bring to me? Does it mean that I put up with, if they treat me badly? Like what exactly does that mean?
This is important. Thank you for the question, because this, it doesn't mean that you don't have to put boundaries, or you don't have to,
Right, right.
like all the stuff that is against the law and against respect and dignity of the human being, that is not out of this proposal. So if you
Yeah,
have someone
yeah.
that is not treating you well, and it's what you have to do is to speak up and then leave the company, or find solutions, right? So this thing that I'm saying is, we cannot apply this to those situations.
Mm-hmm.
But in a healthy environment, that means that every time that we have an interaction, I'm going to look at you with dignity and with respect. I'm committed to witnessing your humanity every time that we have an interaction. This is first. And second, every time that we interact, I'm going to be conscious that the way I see you is the way I make you. So if we have an interaction and you have opinion A about this political moment, and I have an opinion B, I'm not going to put a label on you and say, wow, you are the worst. And no, because if I
Yeah.
see you as the worst, I'm going to make you as the worst.
Mm-hmm.
If by a mistake that you have done with this deadline, or this email that you had to send to a client and you didn't send it on time, I see you as a whatever, then I'm going to make you that label, So I'm going to reduce you to that thing. And you and I know, and we all know, that we are bigger than our mistakes, that we are bigger than our opinions, bigger, or I don't know if bigger is the word, but more profound, more rich, more, you know.
Mm.
And we have excuses and opportunities every single day to do the opposite, to see you as, oh no, and then, I've
Ah, yeah.
been a perfectionist my whole life. So I'm very, very well trained to see what is that thing that Brandon could improve, this
Right.
1% small
Yeah.
thing that you could improve, blah, 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 blah. That's exhausting. That's exhausting. But if instead
Mm.
I see,
Mm.
I look at you with all the things that you do great, that our interaction relationship is going to be different.
That's great. That's very good advice. Very sage advice. Yeah, thank you, Esther. This has been, yeah, super, super fascinating. Any final thoughts? Anything else that came to mind during our conversation that you want to share about beautiful work, beautiful leadership, beautiful culture? Anything else you'd like to add?
Yeah, just one thing now that because of what you just said, which is don't follow my advice, please. Leave it. Go through the experience. Don't
Yeah.
believe me. Please do not believe me.
Uh-huh.
Please, if you are listening to this podcast, this is an invitation for you to grow, to go through the experience of what I am proposing. Yeah, please experience it.
Beauty at Work is brought to you by Templeton Religion Trust. If you enjoyed this clip, go check out the full episode. And please take a moment to subscribe and leave us a review. It really helps get the word out about the show. Thanks, and see you next time.